Dude, welcome to the inaugural Mikey and Dee Dees Bullshit. We're a podcast where two long-term, long-standing friends discuss whatever bullshit's happening in the world. So,
And we're
dude, I apologize.
experts.
We are experts. We are
We are
experts in
experts.
bullshit. All of our ex-wives will tell you we are experts in bullshit. So we love to get together, and since we don't live in the same space anymore, we get to chop it up online, and people can listen to it or not listen, or just have it in the background while they're washing their dishes, which is always fun as well. What's
hmm
up with you, man?
Not much. Still filling out applications for jobs. As we do when
Yep.
we have to find a job. Unfortunately, bullshitting doesn't pay the bills.
It doesn't yet. However, if there are some grants or some super chats, we need to start firing up so we could get funded just to do
The top bullshitter of the chat.
bullshit. So this is our version of OnlyFans. Bullshit. This is
Bullshit.
what we could just sit and kind of talk about. But yeah, dude, I think a lot of people in that same space, whether when it comes to the jobs and stuff, I keep seeing all these things online about ghost jobs and people applying to 50 to 100 jobs and not getting a call back. And if they do get a call back, they may get ghosted after that, as well as, man, you're hearing people talk about multiple round interviewings for, entry level type jobs, man. It's crazy out there.
Yeah,
What's going on?
yeah. I don't know, but yeah, it's not uncommon to, have an employer want you to come for like five different rounds, like two different video chats and then three different inter office visits with personnel. And why does it need to take that long? You should know within meeting that person the first time of whether that's going to be right fit or not. And that used
Yeah.
to be the thing, right? I remember going to job interviews and getting a phone call the next day, whether saying, "Hey, you got the job," or "Hey, no, you didn't get the job." Nowadays, it's kind of like you gotta wait.
Yeah. And I'm like, what have we? So you got to go through panel interviews. And I get that there's a lot of competition. However, at some point, you kind of either know or you don't, and then you kind of factor in that most people only stay at jobs now, what, 2 years? I think it's like that's the average, maybe three. So when you look at resumes now, you got people with like 8 months here, 12 months here, a year here, 6 months here. People move around so much that there's really no sense in even doing these multiple round interviews because odds are that person's not going to be they're not going to be there 5 years.
No, unless you're like me. You should see my resume. I've been at places for about 5 years, maybe a little more.
Yeah, yeah, dude. What we're in a different age bracket, so we're raised by that whole you stay at one job for what 30 years, you get your gold watch, and but all that is has drastically changed with the job market. We have AI now, thank goodness. So AI is helping to clean up a lot of my emails. AI to me, it's like working with someone who has an IQ maybe 50 points above yours.
Yeah, it's pretty helpful. If you know how to prompt it well, you're going to do well. And that's where it's kind of going. You need to learn how to prompt it correctly to get the results you need. And it's not so much about replacing people's jobs because maybe it can, you know. Is it going to replace factory jobs right away? Probably not. I mean, right now, back in the day, you had what robots, even now, robots are building cars to a point, but not every aspect of car building is controlled by a robot. You know what I mean by robot, right? Those
Yeah, yeah,
machines.
assembly line type production line.
Yeah, nothing like you're seeing. There was something I saw the other day on the web. There was a Chinese robot. I can't remember the name of the company. They had two teams of these like robots. I forget what they were actually called. They had three on each side, and they were trying to play soccer.
Okay.
And it's kind of funny because in the very beginning, you see, these robots standing on opposite sides of the field, and one immediately falls over, and one of the other robots looks over and goes, "Huh?" I'm like, "Well, you okay?" But it was funny to watch that, how they're trying to teach these things to navigate a soccer ball from one end of the field to the other. And I think the most work was done where the people running out with stretchers to pick up the robots that fell that couldn't get back up. And they had to go
Oh,
back and reset them, put them back on the field. But it was pretty funny. I got to find that. I'll send it to you.
okay, dude, so I'm a Man U fan, Man United Premier League. So if they have some AI robots that can definitely help my team, dude, I'm also a Cowboys fan. So my Cowboys are destined to suck
Um,
this year. I know you're a Bears fan. The hell with the
well,
Bears. Haven't been good since the 80s. And that was really only one year.
name one other team that has a Super Bowl song, and then we'll chat. The Super
Uh,
Bowl shuffle, you will never ever top that. You can't. And even back it's 30 plus years old, you'll never top the Super Bowl shuffle.
this is true. Hey, I'll give credit where credit's due. What's the guy's name? Thinking Jim McMahon was the quarterback, and he is still one of my favorite quarterbacks. He would wear his sunglasses. You
Hmm.
see him drinking beer during interviews and stuff. Here's what people don't know: he has two rings because what's kind of funny. He left Green Bay, or I'm sorry, he left the Bears and went to Green Bay, and he was a backup quarterback for Brett Favre when Brett Favre won Super Bowl there. So he has two rings actually. But dude, McMahon is still one of my favorite quarterbacks. He was just super cool, did not care. He had that arrogance about him that I found so humorous when I was a kid. And everyone, you'd see little kids with the sunglasses and that kind of mullet-ish haircut he used to have. That stuff was insane, man.
Yeah.
So, man, you got all these movies coming out, man. Have you seen? I know you're a big Marvel guy. So, have you? What's the movie, The Thunderbolts? Have you seen
I
any of
haven't
these
seen
movies
that
come
yet.
out?
No,
Have you
I kind of fallen off watching, I guess, video game movies, and I don't know if it's because they've gotten kind of boring, or there some of them are just over the top, or they're just too heavy into CGI, and I don't know. Some of it. So Ironheart came out. I haven't seen that one yet. That's a
Yeah,
series. I think it was just a one season series. We got the one coming with Robert Downey Jr. for playing Doctor Doom. I forget the name of that
yeah,
one.
dude. They brought him back from the dead, basically, to kind
Yeah.
of revitalize that franchise.
Yeah, and they're using that multiverse loophole that they have currently in the Marvel universe, which is kind of cool. You can think of it, you got multiple timelines. Case in point, Wolverine with Deadpool. That was a good movie. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Okay, hold up. I'm so glad you touched on that. There is something that's been on my mind that I need to express, and why not now? Okay, so I'm gonna preface this statement before I say this. I am no stranger to the LGBT community. I've DJ'd and gone to my fair share of pride parades. Dude, I am no stranger to midnight showings of Rocky Horror Picture Show. One of my favorite movies is The Birdcage, and that's Robin Williams and that one guy, Nathan something. So I can do the time warp with the best of them. I've worked in and out of LGBT communities. So, with that said, I'm going on record in saying Deadpool and Wolverine was the gayest movie I've ever seen in my life.
But it was done on purpose because, Ryan Reynolds characters kind of have that,
Bro,
they're over the
every
top.
other joke was some gay innuendo,
Hmm.
some pop joke. I'm like, dude, I was just waiting for them to start kissing. I'm like, please just kiss the guy already. This is the gayest movie I've ever seen in my life.
Don't
Once
join
you
the
realize
military.
how gay it is, and again, I'm pro LGBTQ, dude.
Yeah.
I've done so much in those communities, but at least tell me it's going to be gay before I watch it.
I mean, being a military man, you know, dick and ball jokes kind of are a thing, we used to have a guy in our platoon that named his penis Lawrence, and he would walk around asking people, "Hey, man, you want some Lawrence?" Or I don't, or just, you know, for instance, like if we had to pack it in on a helicopter or a truck, he said, "Nut the butt, guys, let's go." Assholes and elbows, let's go, tighten it up. Just and I think it's just things that guys do. Like sometimes you see football players slapping each other in the ass. I don't know if it's necessarily gay. I think
Yeah,
it's just you know just a guy thing. Dick and ball jokes are a thing.
I was
Eh,
so expecting that story of that person to end with, and now he's a transgender general in the United States Army. I knew him win. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I can definitely see that. Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
but I cannot. And again, I'm no stranger to the community. Do love it to death, but I that movie was so over the top with like, oh my
But
God,
that's been the Deadpool movies. If you
no,
watched every single one of them,
Deadpool
they've
2 was
been
not
kind
like
of
that.
I mean, it's different. I guess a different premise, maybe. I don't know.
It did how they set it up in Deadpool 3, like him and his girlfriend, who was his girlfriend in part one and two, are broken up. I was like, okay, he's gonna come out the closet because he is so gay for Wolverine. He loves that man. And
Well, anyway, he kind of needed him because he didn't want his world to die.
yeah, I bet he needed him.
But
All right.
okay. Well, I don't know. Again, to me, like digging ball jokes are a thing. I don't know if that necessarily makes it gay. Maybe him slapping his ass here and there. It's just right to me. That's just typical Ryan Reynolds, right? He's always kind of like his characters are kind of always like that. Very, very snooty, kind of like cheap shots, pot shots. Maybe kind of hinting that maybe this guy's gay, maybe he's not. I
Yeah.
don't know. If that's just it's just kind of his MO, I guess. To me, I wasn't really surprised from that because, like I said, coming from the military, that is a thing. And I'm pretty sure anybody else that was in the military listens to this will more than likely agree with me, whether they're male or female. It's always dick and ball jokes.
And I think some of that's just guys. So I wasn't in the military. I played, football from what Pop Warner through senior year of high school. And even when we go fishing, we make all kinds of weird jokes and stuff like that. But that was for my taste, just over the top. That's just me. That's one man's opinion. This is just Dee Dee talking. Please don't, take this and run with it. But yeah, that was just insane. Yeah, also, I think what's interesting with these movies now is that, and I'm not trying to diss Ryan Reynolds. I mean, he'll never even hear this, but he's very successful at what he does. But it seems like a lot of these guys aren't really even acting anymore. They're just playing themselves.
Yeah.
Like The Rock does that a lot. So when I talk to people about some of the movies that wrestlers have made, I was talking to a buddy of mine about this man a month or so back, and I was like, you know what? The Rock has done some interesting, really good, like big budget movies, but I would say my favorite actor who came out of the WWE was probably Batista because he can do a wide range of roles. The Rock pretty much plays himself. This is The Rock in in fast cars. This is The Rock with the huge gorilla or whatnot behind him. This is The
King
Rock.
Kong.
He's a helicopter guy, and This is The Rock as a force right. This is The Rock as the lifeguard. He's kind of just playing himself. Ryan Reynolds is kind of doing that kind of same thing as well. Like every character now is basically just him, Deadpool.
Right. Or, like what's his face? Tom Cruise, does all of his own stunts, been doing them for years, does pretty much all action movies. There's been a few that a couple I don't know if you could call it a comedy or not. Like, the one where he's a bartender. I can't remember the name of that one.
Oh
Remember that
wow,
one?
yeah, that was
That's reaching
cocktail. That's
way back,
yeah, that was 80.
or
Yeah, cocktail
a
was that
serious
movie.
movie like Rain Man. He hasn't done one
Yeah,
of those in a while. Mainly his stuff's been action movies.
which dude, you know what? Uh, when I look at actors, so you have like a Daniel Day Lewis, who is a really good actor. I think he has like 3 or maybe 4 Academy Awards. He's probably been nominated even more times as well. He is a great actor. However, I don't really, when I watch one of his movies, I'll watch it one time and that's it. I won't rewatch it again. But Tom Cruise, he has no Academy Awards to my knowledge. The movies he does, I can always rewatch Collateral. I can always rewatch Interview with the Vampire. He has a Mission Impossible franchise, which is really
Yeah.
good. Like the movies he does have a lot of rewatchability. I actually really like that Mummy movie he did. Also, I've rewatched it a couple of times. It's one of those he does movies that I can put the remote down and just kind of watch. Daniel Day Lewis, not so much. Even though he does fantastic movies, once you watch My Left Foot one time, you're probably not going to watch it again because that movie is depressing.
Yeah. Or Liam Neeson. He's the Naked Gun. He's gonna try
Oh
and
yeah, I saw
get in
that
that
commercial. Are you
series.
going to watch
Yeah.
that?
I don't know. I mean, I did like
Leslie
what is
Nielsen.
his? Yeah, Leslie Nielsen. Man, I'm getting all these names confused, but Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen, and it's kind of funny because they both have L and N in their name, right? Leslie
Yeah,
Nielsen, Liam
realize
Neeson.
that. Okay.
Kind of weird there. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Like I said, it's kind of hard to top Leslie Nielsen when his slapstick. Because back in the day, that was kind of funny, But yeah, OJ in there even, at some point, he was in that movie.
Dude, as a kid, even though what's so crazy, I was a huge football fan. I had no idea O.J. Simpson played football until that trial came out. I was like, the guy from the
The
Naked Gun movies?
Juice? You didn't
Yeah,
know the Juice played football?
because he played back in like the 70s.
Oh.
And keep in mind, this is before the internet, so it's not like I could just go look this guy up. So unless you were kind of in the know and you were a big fan of what he played for the Buffalo Bills, unless you were a big fan of Buffalo, depending on where you were in the world, you and how old you were, you may not know who that guy was. So I knew him from the Naked Gun movies. I wasn't around for the Hertz commercials. I wasn't around when he was, running, and I think he did like 2,000 yards one season. I learned all that after the fact. I just knew him from Naked Gun.
Trying to remember how else I knew him from that movie. Maybe through family. Hey, that's the Juice, Oh, that's OJ Simpson. Back in the day, you don't really pay attention to some of these names. You just like
Yeah,
watch the movie. You didn't really care about the actors' names. You're kind of more involved with the characters,
that's
as
true.
kids.
Yeah. So I
So
think his name was like Nordberg or something like that in the Naked Gun
Nordberg.
movies. Who always got ran over and
Or the commandant from the Police Academy movies. He was pretty funny. Can't remember
yeah,
his name.
yeah, dude. I'm looking forward
Lassard.
to
I
those
think his
movies.
yeah, I think he was Commandant Lassard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of
So I knew the guy. I think his name is Bubba Smith. He was in the Police Academy movies.
yeah.
For some reason, I knew he played football, but I didn't know that O.J. Simpson played football.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have no idea why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't
maybe
say.
someone said something in passing or whatnot. I don't know, man.
Maybe. It could have been, yeah, like that's how it is sometimes, especially with when you're watching it with your parents, your parents been around forever and a day. Oh, this is so and so, or
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is
I saw
I'm
him.
like, who the
So
hell is that? I don't know this person.
yeah. So I'm like that now. If I'm watching a movie when my daughter comes around, if I watch something with her or I watch something with like other loved ones or whatnot. So my mom is into, she watches like westerns, like old ones, TV shows, like Rawhide, Gunsmoke, like those old black and white westerns. And
Yeah.
if you grew up watching like Nick at Night and stuff, some of those people you'd see on those westerns. So I think the last one I saw when I was at her house was she was watching one of those kind of shows, and I was like, "Hey, that's the dude from Gilligan's Island. He was the guy who played the professor." So you see, like, if you go back and watch like those early Twilight Zone movies or Twilight Zone TV shows, the black and white TV shows with Rod Sterling, you'd see like William Shatner and stuff like that in there. So that's pretty cool, man. You can kind of see, oh man, I see the guy from that one. I see the guy from someplace. Oh, he's dead. That guy also, they're
Oh,
dead
he
too.
did.
Yeah, I'm at that age now. We're like, wow, the whole cast of this movie is dead.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
Yeah,
Some of
dude,
the
go
guys
back and
from like
watch those movies
Aliens
you
and
watched in the 80s or 90s. And what's the guy from the Kill Bill movies? He just passed away a day
was
or
it
so ago.
John Masden?
Yeah,
Madsen?
Michael
Marsden.
Madison. Madison.
Michael, yeah.
I just know him as Mr. Blonde. That's Mr. Blonde
Yeah,
right
Mr.
there.
Blonde. Yeah, I remember Mr.
If they
Blonde.
had done what I told him not to do, yeah, like, are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Or
Are
are
you
you
gonna
gonna bite?
bite?
Like, dude, that guy there, he was great at playing deranged kind of off characters.
Yeah.
He always kind of had that kind of psycho mentality about himself, which I thought cast him great in like Reservoir Dogs. I actually rewatched that movie Species, where he was the lead guy trying to catch the alien girl.
Yeah.
He is fantastic at playing a slightly unhinged person.
If I'm not mistaken, he was also in War Games. You remember that with
With Matthew Broderick?
yep. I believe he was in the opening scene when you have the two guys in the missile silo. I believe he's the character that sits on the right side of
Okay.
that facility. So yeah,
Oh, I got to
I
go back
just
and
saw a
watch.
snippet of all his movies, and I believe he
Okay.
was in there. I could be
Oh,
wrong. I'm old.
we're old people
Memory's
now.
not
Well,
as solid as it used to be.
well, now we can just do quick Google searches, but before we had to kind of rely on memory to kind of guide us through certain places we need to kind of be and how to navigate certain spaces. But yeah, dude,
Nope.
it's he was a I mean, rest in peace, brother. I was fond of his movies. He was rarely like a lead character. He was always part of like an entourage or something.
Yeah, but he played it well.
Yeah, he was really good. So you know me, I'm a huge movie buff. So, and he was in a whole bunch of Quentin Tarantino movies. So I'm a huge Tarantino fan. I know Tarantino. I think he's come out with maybe one more movie before he retires from writing and directing. So it's saying that Michael Madison won't be a part of that one. But he was great in the Kill Bill movies. I really liked the stuff he was doing, man. He was a good dude, man. Man, listen, we're getting at that age, man. Some of our actors that we grew up with are kind of just passing
It's
on,
kind of
brother.
scary. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's what, over 70 now? It's kind of
Oh, yeah,
nuts,
he's like 77,
Uh,
78.
how did it happen? How did we get to this age so fast?
Oh, man, dude. So for him, that still, no matter how many Predators they come out with, that one is still my favorite Predator movie.
The first
That
one,
one
yeah.
is 10 out of 10. Hey, it's perfect on it. The
Yeah.
effects still hold up. The story was great. It's a 10 out of 10 on every level.
Yeah, I've rewatched it probably at least 3 times this year so far.
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's
Yeah.
one of those. If I'm at someone's house and it's on TV, I can literally just stop what I'm doing and just watch it. Even though I know the ending, I can recite the lines like they're scripture. You know, with
Yeah. He wanted to
so
be
if
a
you're the
farmer.
gym or something,
Here's a few acres.
pick up the
Kicks him.
shotgun. Hermanos, give me the weapon.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, dude, if you're at a gym and you want to greet somebody, all you got to say is "Dylan, you son of a bitch," and y'all will just slap
Slap
hands.
hands. And
Oh
they
my,
focus on their biceps, just
yeah,
rippling veiny muscles. Yeah.
that
Very
is, dude,
80s.
that and dude, Carl Weathers, he passed on what 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah. Hmm.
The guy who played the Native American trucker,
Billy.
Billy, he
Yeah.
passed also.
Yeah. He's
Yes, a lot of that cast is not even here anymore, man.
And I didn't even, yeah, Shane Black. I didn't know Shane Black was in it. And when I
Yeah,
realized it, he's like, hey, man, isn't he involved in some Marvel movies, I believe, which is,
yeah, yeah. I think I know he was in it. He played the one guy with the radio that
yeah,
kept doing all the jokes about his girlfriend. My girlfriend's is this big, that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I know he started writing. He did a lot of writing. He wrote some of the stuff for the Lethal Weapon movies, I believe, also. Which,
I,
dude, I'm a huge fan of that franchise as well.
I think, I think there's a Lethal Weapon with Danny Glover and Mel Gibson in the works.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe.
yeah. Gonna,
I mean, man, unless they're gonna be training some other officers, how are you gonna see some old geriatric dudes running around like they
well,
did,
dude,
the original? Stop or I'll shoot, and he breaks his ankle.
it's the same way with Bad Boys. I know they've had like four of those movies now with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, but I think the first one came out like '95. But like it's
Yeah,
weird because they're still like detectives. They're not captains yet or like in charge of their own precinct. They're still kind of in this role. And I'm like, bro, you would have been retired long ago from this.
yeah.
Same thing with Riggs and Murtaugh for Lethal Weapon. I'm like, how would they if they bring people back? Which I think the guy who played the captain in that, Donner, I think his name is. I think he's passed on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's gone also. So what people really left those two guys, Joe Pesci, I think they're going to probably, they definitely will bring him back as well. And maybe some of the other family characters, Rene Russo, the lady who played Danny Glover's wife, some of the kids, that kind of stuff. If those guys even act anymore, I haven't seen them in anything.
Yeah, it's been a while for some of them at least, some of them just fall off the face of the earth or it's acting's not for them and they move on to a
Yeah.
different career. And there's countless stories of that. you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think the last Rene Russo movie I saw was probably Thor 2.
Hmm.
I don't think I've seen her in anything recent.
Nah, yeah, and actually that name hardly ever rings a bell for me anymore. And
Yeah,
it goes to show you how long it's been. It's
yeah.
crazy.
And she was a really good actress. I'm sure she's still a very good actress. She might be doing more theater and stuff. I mean, we can look on her IMDb page or whatnot. It probably has a whole
Wikipedia.
list of things. Yeah, but yeah, it's just one of those, bro. There's so much stuff out there right now. It's hard to keep track of where people are nowadays with their
Mm.
acting and what they're watching. There's some shows. I actually just finished this one show where it actually ended a few years back, but I just got around to watching it. It's a vampire show. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, it was okay. But it was like 3 or 4 seasons, and they ended it, so it was okay show. But there's so much out there now, content wise. It is super hard to even keep up with things now.
Keep up with it, or there's so many seasons, and after a while you get tired of watching it. I'm notorious for that. I'll start something, I'll get in 3 seasons into it, and about maybe season three, episode 3 or 4, I can't watch this anymore. I'm gonna take a break,
Yeah,
and then I forget about it, so it sits on the shelf for a few weeks or a month or 2 years. I'm like, oh man, so either I got to go to like YouTube and look for a recap about what it's about, because I don't want to go all the way back to the beginning and rewatch all that stuff to that point. You can get a recap, which really helps. Like shows like The Bear, I started watching that. I kind of fallen off. Same thing happened with Lost.
lots. Okay.
Yeah, that The Walking Dead.
Well, dude, they got like 15 spin-offs now of The Walking Dead.
And
Can't even keep track.
the zombie has a zombie. Also has that zombie has a show about that zombie, and that zombie's brother, sister's uncle's best friend's sister has a show. So it just goes on and on and on and on. Like, at some
Yeah,
point, you're gonna run out of zombies, right? You kill them all.
yeah,
You know,
dude, I
unless you get
get
bit, you're not making any more.
like at some point. Okay, man. So Walking Dead kind of helped usher in a zombie craze. And now it's been so long that zombies aren't really even a thing anymore. So, like, zombie movies, TV shows were huge, kind of that peak period when The Walking Dead was doing its thing. But now it's monster movies that are coming out. Like, so you have Sinners, that's more about vampires. Yeah, that werewolf movie come out. You're not really seeing a whole lot of zombie flicks anymore,
No, it's
which
been played out.
Dude, I think it's at that. Well, I know they're gonna have another 24 or 28 years later now. I think that's gonna come out soon. But dude, I'm at the point, or it's already probably come out. Actually, I probably just don't even know about it. Yeah, but I'm just at the point now where I'm like, I'm so tired of comic book movies, franchises. I want more one-offs? Just a movie that like we're just doing this one. So TV shows like we're talking about, if they would just say, "Hey, this show is only going to be 4 to 5 seasons long, and that's it. We're not trying to do 10 years. These actors have other obligations as well. We're just going to do 3, maybe 4 seasons a night, tight. Every episode is not filler. They're doing 6 to 10 episodes a season, and that's it. And
Hmm.
then you're good after that. There's no, we're gonna keep trying to drag this on. And when it's it, it's it. I don't want this other character have. Well, the show's over, but this character has their own spinoff now, and that's gonna go on forever. And like you said, his cousin has a roommate also, and we didn't know this backstory how he got to
Yeah.
this place. Yeah, I'm like, dude, I
Well,
don't care.
the actor that does Daryl, I can't remember his name, and I'm sure people are gonna lambast me for that one. But I'm old.
Yeah,
I don't remember these names. But
I know him as
he's been in
Daryl
two
Dixon.
video games. I'm not sure if you ever heard of it. It's Hideo Kojima games.
Okay,
They're Death Stranding. He's got Death Stranding 1 and 2, and he's the main
okay.
character in those games.
Yeah,
And
wait,
they
so that just recently came out, right?
Death Stranding 2. Death Stranding
Okay,
came out a few years ago, but they have Death Stranding 2, and that's
okay.
yeah, my God, what is it? Norman Reedus, right?
Norman Reedus,
Yeah.
who is
Yes.
a good actor. Hey man, listen,
Yeah.
like me and you, we both love that movie Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
Part
Hmm.
two probably didn't need to happen, but part one was fantastic. So we liked Norman Reedus before he was in The Walking Dead.
I didn't even realize he was that Norman Reedus was in the Boondock movies when the Walking Dead series was going on. I didn't put them two together until like somebody pointed out later on. Like,
Yeah,
from Boondocks. I'm like, what? Really?
those
And I had to go
movies,
back and look at I had to go back and look at the
yeah,
actual, movie poster. I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
yeah,
I
because
see it now.
but that movie came out what 2000, maybe 1999, and then there was
Somewhere
like a
around there,
10 year
yeah.
gap between that and The Walking Dead. You didn't see the guy. The only thing I saw him in after that was Blade 2. He played that remember the handyman or whatnot that Blade had before. Yeah,
Yeah.
in part two. Yeah, he played that. That's the only other thing I saw him in until I saw him back in The Walking Dead. Yeah, hey, great actor. He's doing his thing. God bless. But I get that. That's his bread and butter now. Like he does. He's Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead.
Yep.
So, but there are a lot of actors like that dude, Kelsey Grammer. He made his money off of being Fraser, and he played that same character for what 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Did pretty well
Cheers.
with it.
Hey man, dude, he's not gonna he's not filling out applications online looking for jobs like you and I are.
No. Nah, no.
He's
I don't need
good.
to fill out this application. I've got
Great.
a doctorate in bullshit.
Yeah. Like, dude. But yeah, he made his money off of playing that certain type of character, man. So dude, there's no shame in that, man, which is good. But dude, man, it's always cool catching up with you, man. We don't want to keep this going on forever and a day. So, man, let's do this again, same time next week, and just catch up. And we're just gonna sit and talk about bullshit, man.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about music next time. Speaking of something music, I don't know if you've ever heard of this band. It's a band called Failure. And if you still have Netflix, they have a documentary out that I would think you would find very interesting because they touch on some things that we ran into when we were in a band. So,
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll check it out. I, I'll see if I can stream it somewhere,
yeah,
and then we'll
I'll
talk about that next time when we're together, man.
sounds good.
All right. Talk to you later, brother.
Later.